The famed astronomer Carl Sagan once said, "When we give in to our emotions, we're liable to fool ourselves. We're up for grabs to the next charlatan that comes ambling along." Storytelling and stories themselves appeal to our basest human emotions. But they can be used for good or evil. They're morally neutral. They can both incite crowds and they can inspire crowds. In business, our goal is often to put some sort of data, some feature or benefit or information into the mind of the audience. But cold, hard facts are not terribly compelling more often than not. The good way to think about it is the data is like the driver of a car and the story is the car. You need that vehicle. So how do you embed your data within a story? The answer is within its turning point. If you don't know what a turning point is or how it works, scroll back to episode 3 of this video series entitled The Anatomy of a Turning Point. But for now, a very brief recap. Turning points are broken down into 4 stages: surprise, curiosity, insight, new direction. You bury your data, your fact, your feature, your benefit, your information into the insight stage of the turning point. So just as an example, let's say you're trying to sell someone on the idea of an iPhone, okay? And the piece of data you're trying to get across is the Siri feature. Well, let's tell a story about a carload of kids who are arguing over what's the name of the songs on the radio currently. And the parent who's in the front seat, reaches into their pocket, pulls out their iPhone and says, "Hey Siri, what's the song playing on the radio?" And Siri gives the answer, okay? You've just told a story that gets across that piece of information in a way that fits real life experience. What if you're in a job interview? This is applicable there as well. You want to tell a story that demonstrates the piece of data that you are good at working in groups, let's say. Okay, well, you could just come out and say, "Hey, I'm good at working in groups," but that kind of comes off like bragging, right? And it just doesn't really mean a whole lot. Anyone can say that. But if you told a real life story that embedded in the insight stage of your turning point an example of how you are good at working in groups and your really good people skills, that's getting across the exact same thing in a much more effective way that doesn't sound like bragging. There's actually an old parable that Annette Simmons cites in her book, The Story Effect, that goes something like this. Cold, naked truth was walking through a town, knocking on doors, looking for someone to take it in, but no one was letting truth in. Until one day someone came along and clothed truth in story. Suddenly, everyone had their arms wide open.